And good afternoon from the Georgia WeatherNet 24/7 Storm Center. I'm meteorologist KJ Allen, and we are breaking in with live coverage. We do have severe weather in South Georgia, and we do have a tornado warning that has just been issued just a moment ago. This is going to be for portions of Colquitt, Tift, and Worth County. Tornado or a thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located near Doe Run, about 9 miles northwest of Moultrie, moving east at 45 miles per hour. So there's the possibility of a tornado with this storm. It's going to be near Norman Park at around 2:30 and Omega at around 2:35. And that's just now starting. That's just now popping up here on our radar. And you can see these storms are pushing toward the east. And just wanted to break in and give you that information as soon as I received it. And let's it's going to pause for just a moment so we can catch up with our radio partners in the Albany area so that we can make sure that they have all of the information that they need as well. So we're going to take just a brief break, and we'll come back with more coverage. We'll drill into the radar imagery here, take a look at the velocity, and see exactly where this rotation is. So we'll be right back in just a moment here on the Georgia WeatherNet. All right, if you're just joining us, this is the Georgia WeatherNet with live severe weather coverage. The National Weather Service has issued a tornado warning for northern Colquitt County, southwestern Tift County, and southeastern Worth County until 2:45. Doppler radar indicating that severe thunderstorm around the Doe Run community, and that's moving to the east at 45 miles per hour. So Norman Park, you're in line for this storm, and Omega also in line around 2:35. So let's go ahead and track what we're looking at here. We can see some pretty broad rotation. I looked at this just before the Weather Service issued this warning, and so we were keeping a pretty close eye on this. This is really just to the northeast of Sigsbee, again to the east of Doe Run, and moving along Highway 33. So as this storm continues to move toward the east, we'll be crossing toward Norman Park. Moultrie, you are out of the warning polygon. Looks like it's going to pass just to the north of Moultrie. And let me put a track. Let's see, we'll need to time out the track. And bear with me just a moment. And we'll get we will get the track here. So right in the middle here is going to be our location of the rotation. So should be in Norman Park in about 12 minutes right now. So they're saying the Weather Service saying 2:30. That's about right. 2:30, 2:32 to be precise, just to the south of Omega in about 16 minutes or so. Now, this entire area is also under a severe thunderstorm warning as well. So that is covering several counties, including Tift County, also portions of Grady County, Mitchell County, Thomas County, Worth County is in there as well, and Colquitt County. And this warning is in effect until 2:45. That's a severe thunderstorm warning, part of that large squall line there moving all the way through the warned area, and again moving over toward Highway 19, US 19, that connects Norman Park with Omega. Let me zoom out in case you're just joining us to give you an idea of what we're looking at here. This is South Georgia, almost as far south as you can go, but not quite. So this is going to be in the Moultrie-Tifton area, but Moultrie, you're not in the tornado warning polygon, but Omega and Norman Park you are. So if you know anybody in that area or you're in that area, you need to seek cover right now, lowest level, most interior room, away from doors and windows. And I mentioned this is a very long squall line up to the north, now stretching up towards Statesboro, but you can see the storms are pretty spread out up there. So fairly stable air from Vidalia up to Claxton and Statesboro, but we have this instability in the southwest corner of the state, really from Fitzgerald all the way down into across Lake Seminole and then into Mariana and Chattahoochee, Florida. So this is where we're seeing a little bit of spin on these storms, just enough to raise some concern. This is our first tornado warning of the day. We've had several severe thunderstorm warnings with this line, but this is the first one that's showing enough rotation that the Weather Service is playing it safe and going ahead and calling this one a potential tornado. So our broad rotation, if you can see my mouse here, is like right here. So I'm going to move the storm track. So this is where our main concern is going to be, east of Doe Run, now continuing to move toward the east at about 45 miles per hour over Highway 33. We'll be crossing very, very close to Norman Park, just on the Colquitt-Tift County line, it looks like, as it continues to move toward Omega. Now, Tifton, you're not in the warning polygon. The storm should not be moving close to Tifton. Now, the overall squall line will, so heavy rain and gusty winds will continue to push in through Tift County, but it looks like it's going to be the southern end of Tift County, southern portion of Worth County, and northern Colquitt County is where our main concern is going to be as far as the storm with some rotation. So really what we're watching out here is for this storm to tighten up on the rotation. When the Weather Service issued this warning, the rotation was pretty broad, but there's always that concern that it could get a little bit more organized as it continues to push toward the east. So not a fast-moving storm. It's kind of, 45 miles per hour. That's not the speed of light, but also not so slow that we're going to have a huge flood concern. Our main concern will be these strong straight-line winds as well as the potential for this tornado. So we are looking at northern Colquitt County, southern Worth County, and the extreme southwest corner of Tift County, which includes Omega, for this tornado warning. Let me just take a look at the debris tracker and just to make sure we're not missing anything, and I'll put this in motion. It'll take just a second for this to load up the frames on the debris tracker, but I'm just looking for any sign of debris, and I don't see any, so that's going to be good. It looks like what rotation we have is staying high enough up in the atmosphere. Again, it's broad enough that it's not quite producing a tornado or creating that gradient where we get a vortice out of that. So let's hope we keep it that way, but that rotation is there. Now across Highway 33, continuing to move toward Norman Park. Should be heading out there near Highway 19 and State Highway 256, just slightly to the north and over Norman Park. So still important to be in your tornado safe place in Norman Park and Omega and all points in between as this storm continues to cruise through northern Colquitt County, right on the edge there of Worth and Tift County. Just scanning through any additional information we have from the Weather Service. And nothing new on this storm. They're continuing to monitor it. The time is 2:25. This warning goes until 2:45. And now that we have a new track, we'll put another storm track on this. Let's go back to velocity and look at what this is probably going to be our area most concerned. So we'll put the track right here. So yeah, this is going to be very, very close to Norman Park, if not just slightly to the north where our main concern is going to be. And we're looking at the center of that moving over Norman Park here in the next 5 to 10 minutes, and then just south of Omega in about 13 to 15 minutes. Downstream from this will be El Dorado and Lenox and Cook County. Looks like this will be north of Adel and Sparks, but strong straight line winds are possible throughout Cook County as this line continues to move in closer. But if this rotation stays together or tightens up, we're going to keep an eye out for an extension of this warning, possibly into more of Tift County and all the way into Cook County. But for right now, no warnings covering those areas, but just know that these storms are on the way. We'll zoom out again, give you the big picture. If you're just joining us here on the Georgia Weather Net, we do have an active tornado warning. So we are live, and we're going to stay live until this warning expires. And hopefully we can get this off the board and move on. We see several severe thunderstorm warnings stretching from Tifton all the way down toward Cairo in South Georgia. So that line of severe thunderstorms there producing gusty winds and the potential for some hail with these storms as well. But our main concern is going to be here in northern Colquitt County, right along the Worth-Tift County line, with storm showing some broad rotation. Let me just click back again to our debris tracker to make sure nothing's happened with this last scan. Make sure nothing slips by, no indication of debris. So that's good news. And back to velocity. Yeah, there's that. Really, the broad rotation remains actually looking a little bit more like it's broadening out, losing some intensity over the past couple of scans. So maybe we'll get this thing expired early, but we'll see. Go ahead and take a look at some upper scans of the atmosphere. Not showing anything of great concern, but I'm showing that broad rotation up to, let's see, about 6,000 feet up. So, yeah, pretty decent storm here for sure. And so we are going to continue to monitor this and watch the scan by scan as this storm continues to move toward Norman Park. Beginning to move toward US 19. Looks like it's just going to make it to the south of Omega. The rotating portion of the storm may not quite make it to Tift County, but it's going to be very, very close. But still a good idea to stay in that tornado safe place, lowest level, most interior room, away from doors and windows, even if you're in Omega and that southwest corner of Tift County. And just be aware, downstream in Lenox and Cook County and parts of southeast Tift County, El Dorado, if this storm holds together, we're going to continue to watch this move again to the east at about 45 miles per hour. So a little bit of time to get prepared. Adel, you're going to be picking up some strong winds, already some showers moving into western Cook County just ahead of this main line. Hopefully that'll stabilize the atmosphere somewhat before the main line gets there. But that line is moving in your direction. All right, new scan. Let's take a look at the velocity. All right, that rotation continues to broaden out. So maybe we'll get this called off early. We're coming up on 2:30. We have about 16 minutes to go on this tornado warning for northern Colquitt County, southern Worth County, and southwestern Tift County. And just not a whole lot to look at as far as the rotation is concerned right now. But the Weather Service, especially on days like this where they're monitoring a very long line of thunderstorms, multiple severe thunderstorms, they will hold on to these warnings a little bit longer just to be safe. So this just in from the Weather Service, that tornado warning does continue for northern Colquitt. Rotation is a bit broader and weaker. And noticing what they call a rear inflow jet. So let's see that. So that's going to be pushing this storm a little bit more, could get the rotation going again more. And also with that rear inflow jet, that means gusty winds. So we could start seeing the potential of 60-mile-an-hour plus wind gusts, straight line winds with this storm, with that rear inflow beginning to form, and maybe able to see that a little bit better with some upper scans. Just give me just a second here. And yeah, okay, this gets pretty noisy once we get pretty high up in the atmosphere, but go back down. I'll show you kind of what the Weather Service is looking at, what I'm looking at as well. If you're able to see the mouse here on the screen. So you see a little weakened area back here, just northeast of Sigsbee around Highway 33, west of Norman Park. So we're getting some strong winds basically pushing into the backside of this storm. So as that enters the storm, remember our rotating portion is near Norman Park. So as this pushes into the backside of this, that can get that spinning up a little bit more. So that's the rear inflow jet. And because of that appearance of that development, you can see it here on the low scan as well. See that weakened area. Again, I hope you can see my mouse okay. This is that rear inflow jet. So this is the big concern of getting this portion of the storm to spin just a little bit more. Basically, like spinning a top, and you kind of give it another little spin. That's what that can do. So that's why we're going to hold on to this warning for now. That rotation still pretty broad, pretty weak over Norman Park. But let's see if anything changes over the next couple of scans. A portion of the tornado warning has been lifted for parts of northwest Colquitt County and southwest Worth County. But Norman Park, Omega, you are still under the gun, and we're going to continue to monitor this. Very heavy rain moving into Moultrie right now. Not showing any rotation on that. We'll flip back over to the, maybe some very, very weak rotation just to the southeast of Moultrie. near the bypass. I'm zooming in really close there, but that's something that may be worth looking at. It's pretty weak, pretty broad, but worth looking at. Again, it's around Highway 33, just east of 319. And that could be showing some hail in that as well. Let's take a look at our severe hail tool to see what we have. Nothing as far as severe hail, but we can look at our liquid our vertical liquid here that's going up into the atmosphere, and that's stretching from Norman Park all the way through Moultrie in the southwest Colquitt County. So maybe some hail, not going to be major hail, but could be penny size. So we'll be on the lookout for that as well. And our tornado warning remains in effect until 2:45. It's currently 2:33. This is the Georgia WeatherNet with live severe weather coverage on this Sunday afternoon. We've been preparing for this for the last couple of days. The Storm Prediction Center with some great guidance on this, putting southwest Georgia in a level 2 out of 5 severe weather risk. And here it is. And once this pushes through, things are going to start to get quiet. It's going to be slowly clearing as we move through the evening and late night hours. And those temperatures also dropping over the next few days. We'll see temperatures in this part of the state into the upper 30s, maybe some mid 30s by Tuesday night. So some big changes on the way, and freezing temperatures in parts of north and middle Georgia. So we are not finished with winter yet. And this time of year, when we get late winter, early spring, that's where we get the collision of these air masses, the cold air coming in from the north and the warm, humid air down in the south. That is why we could see these severe thunderstorms pop up. And just enough spin, we can get these tornadoes. Watching out for some strong to severe thunderstorms over in Telfair and Wheeler County. And that area is part of the tornado watch as well. Let me see if I can pull up our watch area. Stand by with me just a second. And here we go. So you can see South Georgia, south of I-16, and then out in southwest Georgia under a tornado watch until 8 o'clock tonight. So just enough spin in the atmosphere that we're looking out for the potential of these storms to spin up a tornado. So let's monitor our thunderstorm here, continuing to move through northern Colquitt County. Yeah, it's a little bit too close for me to get a good view of what's going on, so let's zoom out just a little bit. And that rear inflow jet still showing up. So this is going to be the weaker portion, the green area out just to the west of Norman Park. And so that's indicating that we have some winds pushing in from the backside of this storm, and we can actually see the result of that with a bowing section to the east of Norman Park. So right in here, we got a little inflow coming in on this side. And so that's why we have the storm that's spinning up. We have a little inflow coming in this way. We have some flow coming in from the backside. And so we have this little kink in the storm. And that's where we can see these storms spin up and possibly drop a tornado. So, yeah, this is certainly worth looking out for. And I think if this configuration holds like this, we may get this tornado warning extended into northeastern Colquitt County. The rotation showing up on radar is not significant at all. It's quite broad and quite weak. But again, with that configuration of the way that wind is coming into the storm from both the front side and the back side of the storm, that's something worth monitoring for sure. We may see this extended into a severe thunderstorm warning with the possibility of a tornado in the northeast Colquitt, parts of Cook, and southeast Tift. That's probably going to be the way that they go, but I'm not going to try to guess the Weather Service. I'll let them make those decisions, and I'll just pass along what they say. They are the experts on this for sure. The yellow polygon is going to be your severe thunderstorm warning. So that stretches from southwest Tift County all the way down into northern Thomas County, almost to Thomasville, but Ocklawackney down to the southwest, and then up through Colquitt, including Moultrie, and then into the eastern portion of the box there, starting to outrun the box in Colquitt County. So may see another warning issued here in just a moment. We're just going to keep an eye on it. It's 2:36. Our tornado warning, the red polygon, is set to go for another 4 minutes. And you can see we just got a new scan of radar. So let's zoom in and see if we have some more clues that we can look at. We'll go to our velocity. Yeah, that little S-shaped storm is certainly keeps your attention. But that rotation has really broadened and weakened a great deal as it's moving south of Omega over Norman Park now. So west of Norman Park, west of Highway 19, you're going to be in the clear. So just light to moderate rain west of US 19. And the bulk of the storm now moving east of US 19, heading up through northeast Colquitt County into southern Tift County. And just about ready to run through the boundary of the polygon. So something's going to have to happen here. Either a new warning issued or they just let this one float away. So we'll see what the plan is here in the next couple of minutes. Got a storm report out of Florida in Washington County, Florida. So just over the state line with some power lines down around Orange Hill, Florida. And it looks like the Weather Service is going to allow the tornado warning to expire at 2:45. Even though we got that little S shape in there, it looks like the rear inflow jet's starting to get cut off a bit as well. That's going to be right here just above Norman Park. And they've gone ahead and canceled that even earlier than 2:45. So there you go. And while I have you, the National Weather Service out of Atlanta, how about this? Issuing a freeze watch. And this goes into effect tomorrow night at 11 p.m. through 11 a.m. on Tuesday. And that's going to be covering, 64 counties, all of northwest Georgia, all the way up to the mountains of North Georgia, all of the Atlanta metro counties, and really all the way down almost to Macon. So we'll be talking a little bit more about that on the morning update tomorrow right here on the Georgia Weather Net. But tornado watches and warnings today, freeze watch tomorrow. Welcome to Georgia. End of winter, early fall, early spring. That's the way it goes. All right, so the tornado warning has been canceled a little bit early. Severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect, and those strong storms continue to push northeast Colquitt County, moving to the east about 45 miles per hour, now heading in toward Cook County, southern Tift County. So just remain weather aware and vigilant. And if we have another warning to pass along to you, a tornado warning, I'll break in right here on the Georgia Weather Net.